Craig, not a very active summer for the Calgary Flames in terms of many signings. You didn't have a ton of money to go around, but a really big, important piece of business gets done earlier this week for the Calgary Flames, re-signing Michael Backlund to an extension, and with that also the captaincy as well, which is a pretty big moment for this franchise. For you, what does it feel like to get a really important piece like that done and checked off before the puck drops for the regular season?
Oh, it takes a little weight off my shoulders to get Michael signed, first of all, was huge. And then to know he was going to be the captain, and should have been the captain probably the last couple of years. It just, it sends the message to the team that, hey, we're here, we're trying to win, we're trying to be competitive. And last year we weren't happy with where it went, but for him to kind of come back in the fold, I think sends a message to the rest of the room. And now being the captain, even more so.
Is he going to become essentially your biggest recruiter in terms of the other business that you need to get done? Is that your hope?
I think the players always are. I mean, I think, they have those special bonds down in the room, and they know what we're trying to do here, and they all want to be together, and, they have fun together, and it seems like they're enjoying it. And, that was one of the things in the summer you kind of wanted to see when everyone came back. I mean, we heard the rumblings at the end of the year, but I know what it's like. You're frustrated, you're not happy, you're disappointed with the season. So to have them all come back, we did a few changes. I know we can't do much in the Saddle Dome, but the few changes we made have been a huge positive. The guys are excited about it. Kind of getting them all together. They went out to play golf, and they've been together, and they're having fun, and they're on all their chats, and they just seem like there's a real lightness in the room right now. And I think that's a good sign, and hopefully all the guys feel that. I mean, I feel it when I walk down there, but I'm hoping they feel the same.
So take me back to the summer. I mean, you're a few weeks on the job, and there's all this news flying around. So-and-so may be here, may not. To really, from your perspective, take a step back and kind of slow things down. You made the trade with Toffoli, but then, okay, here's what we have. Let's try and work towards where we want to get to in terms of keeping these guys. The only real way to do that is to have them come back and feel and see what it's like and how different it is.
Yeah, I mean, we can tell them it's going to be different. Ryan and I were trying to explain what it's going to be like. I do want to have fun. Again, I want to have fun, but it's a highly competitive business we're in, so we're going to have fun, but we're going to work. I think you can do both at the same time. And, that was kind of the message. And, in the end, it's about winning games. We have to win games. And I believe, last year at times, and to a man, when I talked to him, they weren't happy with their season. Even Backlund, who had a career year, was not happy with the season, disappointed. So everybody had that sour taste in their mouth at the end of the season. And, I heard all the stuff out there. But I talked to the guys. It wasn't quite like people think behind the scenes. It's just, where are we going, Craig? What are we doing? How is it going to be different? What are we going to do to kind of change things up? And those are hard, because you'd like to say, well, we'd like to get guys signed, but someone has to take that first step. And for us, it was Backlund took it, and having him in the fold. And you're right, he's going to be the guy that's probably our best salesman down in that locker room.
So because of getting someone to take that first step, why was Backlund the right guy? Is it his standing in the market, his tenure here? What is it about his personality that kind of you sought him out first?
First, I played with Bax. This is the last person we are kind of connected in that, and we've known each other for a long, long time now. I mean, since he's been 18, 19 years old. So I've seen him grow, see what he's like as, from kind of the young man he was when he got here, always polite, respectful, very quiet in the room, to where he's taken that leader position. I mean, he will confront guys. He will push guys. He will go in and see the coach. His one thing is he wants to win. He wants to be here and wants to be part of the winning. So that's all part of it. And then what he does off the ice is a whole nother level. What he does in this community is second to none. So I think when you have a guy, and I've talked about having young players in the lineup and trying to get these young players in, there's nobody to set a better example than Michael Backlund moving forward. I know it's a 3-year, this year and 2 more, but that's what we want people to see. The way he is in the gym, second best shaped guy in camp. Dubé always seems to
edge him out.
Yeah, just by a little bit, but it was nose and nose. But, that's what you want. He does everything right off the ice, in the community, and on the ice. So he was an important piece for me, and hopefully that translates into other guys feeling the same way.
Mm-hmm. And that feel, I'm just here for one practice, but you can tell the guys are talking, they're banging their sticks. There's just a different vibe here. How has Ryan Huska contributed to that, and why was he the right guy, even though he's been here and he's been on the bench and he knows a lot of these guys, to make it so different?
I think the one thing, I got to see Ryan in junior, in Kelowna. So you're watching him there. Then you're watching him coach our American League team. And then here, I mean, as an assistant coach, he's got different ideas. He's got things he would like to do differently. And he knows what we were, if anybody knows what was going on last year down in that locker room, he had the best feel. So, for me, it was his time to take over the reins, and what he wanted to do as far as defensive zone, changing the offensive, everything. Those were all little things that I thought, I totally agree. I feel the exact same way. So he touched all those bullet points in his presentation to me, and I just thought, and knowing his personality, yeah, he still can be hard. I think people see him back there kind of stoic, quiet, but as an assistant coach, but he's got an edge to him because like I told him, I know there's lots of things that I like about what Daryl does, and there's things I didn't like what Daryl did, but he holds people accountable. You know where you stand with Daryl, and I said, I think that's still important. We can't just, the fun part, I want to have fun. They're having fun out there. They're joking around. They're shooting. They're doing whatever, and they're having a good time. And off the ice, I want the same thing. But
doesn't matter if you don't win.
No, we have to
no
win.
one's going to have fun then.
No, you have to win, and the coach has to hold people accountable and put them to a higher standard, but also explain to them. I mean, you don't want that gray area, black and white. Players love that, and I think Ryan can do that.
So with some limited changes to the roster, this is a team that many had picked a year ago to be competitive and to challenge for not just the playoffs, but to go on a deep run. And a lot of things happened along the way that contributed to that. It almost felt like everything that could go wrong last year did. Why is this group as constituted? Why do they have your belief that they can now get back to that level?
Well, the first things, I think the changes we've made, to the coaching staff, I think we brought in a couple new outside fresh faces. I mean, I think Mark Savard working on the power play. He's playing with savvy. It's all about offense, creativity, and just to hear his meetings and kind of the response the guys have, I think he wants you to make plays. He wants you to get outside your comfort zone with able to do things, and he's got tons of ideas. So I think that's a big thing. I think just having guys that are motivated, talking to him this summer, there's nothing like a guy that feels like he let everyone down last year, and that was to a man. So from the time, Jacob Markstrom was on the ice way earlier than he was normally. He's focused, he's dialed in, he's on a mission, and I think talking to Huberdeau, same thing. He feels more comfortable here now. He knows what to expect in a Canadian market, and he's on a mission. And I think the same with Uyghur. I think Kadri had a great year the first half, and maybe down the stretch it tailed off a little bit. He played a lot of hockey, so not to make an excuse, but if he gets back to that level where he was, we have Lindholm and just the group. I mean, our defensive core was Zadorov, Uyghur, Hanifin, Tanev. I just look at it and think there's more to give from each guy, and if we just do a little bit, I'm not saying one person has to carry it. As a group and a team, we pull together, and we're all pulling in the same direction. I believe, we're a playoff team.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned your D-core, and one of the big pieces that was missing last year was Oliver Shillington. What's his status so far in camp?
Oliver, he came over, and he's going through some things right now, so we want to be private with Oliver, and we're here to support him. That's all we can do. And he's doing his best. He wants to be here. He wants to be part of it. But right now we have to do what's best for him and his family.
If you can get him back at some point, how key of a piece would he? I just saw even last season some workout video. Like, he looks like he's physically close to being ready to go.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's definitely physically ready to go. We just got to get him over a few things that he's dealing with, and we're going to give him the full support as a team, and myself and everybody in the organization. We want nothing but the best for Oliver.
Got to ask about your goaltending situation. You mentioned Jacob Markstrom and the bounce back year that you're hoping for and expecting, but you've also got a few guys behind him that are really intriguing good goaltenders in Vladar and also Wolf. You've mentioned before that you feel like Wolf has earned an opportunity with his play at the AHL level. The numbers speak for themselves. Where do you see things in camp? We're only a week in, but how does that look?
The one thing you every day in practice, you watch all three goalies, and they're dialed in. I think when you see Vladar going to Seattle, some of the saves, winning the game, and I'm thinking we're in a good spot. I feel very comfortable with our goaltending. Obviously it's a position of power or good feelings for me right now. So, I'm not going to rush and do anything. I want to make sure the one thing about having a young goaltender, you still want him to play. He needs to play, and just sit on the bench and watch and practice it's a learning experience, but you also need to get that game time. So, with Dustin being able to not have waivers exempt, so to be able to go down, we're in a good situation with the three goalies, and you just feel like you don't want to hurt yourself by just making a move to make a move.
So if I'm reading between the lines, the smart money would be on Wolf playing for the Wranglers to start, and then you figure it out from there?
I think so. If I have to be, if I was looking right now today, I think the two guys that were here in the years past they're really dialed in. They look sharp. So it's tough to say we're going to change something, but you know how things happen. There's injuries for other teams and there's things, and you're always looking at all your options.
Sure. And one piece of the Toffoli trade that I guess league-wide hasn't really received a ton of attention, but even just watching him today, he's got wheels and he can shoot. Sharon Govich, what have you seen from him, and is he sort of a potential under-the-radar guy that's going to be a big contributor for this team?
I think so. Talking to Ryan, he watched a lot of games in the summer to see what his game was like. Obviously, he didn't see him as much out in the East, but so when he was putting the lines together to see Huberdeau, Lindholm and Sharon Govich, you're like, oh, this could be good. I assume he's pretty excited. He's getting power play time here during training camp, and he's a great penalty killer. That's the one thing we really liked him on, the penalty kill. So we're always looking to improve, getting younger, and he's a guy that I have high expectations for, and I think with added ice time and the guy he's going to play, he's going to get a great opportunity here in Calgary.
It's going to be interesting to see how that all comes together. Even just something as simple as using a Jonathan Huberdeau in the correct position might help as a start. But to wrap, this is a year. Your mission and mandate is to win and compete. What's the easiest way to sum up the expectations for the Calgary Flames?
I think I like that we're underdogs this year. Honestly, people don't expect much from us. I expect a lot myself. I think the guys do. But until you start playing games and really see where this group kind of comes together, we're all waiting to see. I think I like what I'm seeing now. I like how the close unity they seems like the guys have, and they're enjoying each other and they're having fun. And I think Huska and the staff are helping with that. And the little changes we've made around the dome, I think of saying, hey, these guys are trying to change things up. They're not just talking about it; they're showing us they're doing it. So we want to continue that process, and we'll see how it goes game one against Winnipeg.
All of the building blocks being put in place. Craig Conroy, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.